This mirror can show you whether you have missed the spot with your sunscreen, or at least that's the idea. In a few weeks, I'll be taking it to the electromagnetic field in the UK. This will be my first time attending EMF camp, but I've been to a number of similar events over the years. Usually, I'll just show up and enjoy the camp, but this time I wanted to bring a project. I had an idea for something that could make for a fun installation, I think. These camps take place in the summer, and they are often attended by people who, at least according to the stereotype, don't spend much time in the sun. In fact, I fit that description quite well myself. That means sunscreen is important. So I thought, wouldn't it be useful to have a tool that reminds people to use sunscreen and helps them to see whether they applied it properly? That is exactly what we are building today. After that intro, you probably already realized that this project boils down to getting a camera to actually see in UV and then adding a few bits and bobs so it is a usable mirror in a sense. So let's start with the heart of the project, the camera itself. In my case, I'm using a Sony a6400. I had that anyways, and it has exchangeable lenses. This is important. We will come to this later. First, let's think about what we have to do to get this camera to actually see in UV. Cameras are usually meant to take pictures that resemble real life. So the manufacturer wants it to work in the same band of spectrum of light that we humans see. That being around 400 nanometers for around blue to 750-ish nanometer being red, and everything in between. The CCD sensors in these cameras can see quite a bit further in either direction. So to get these cameras to actually work in the same range that human eyes do, the manufacturers install something called a hot mirror, which is a piece of glass that is placed directly in front of the CCD, and that piece of glass is coated in a way that it filters out both the IR spectrum and the UV spectrum, leaving what they want us to see. So the first step is to get rid of this hot mirror. I do not have video of that, but I will link a video and a forum entry or something like that that explains how to do it with this specific camera. They have lots of cameras for which they show this kind of work. It's kind of tricky. These cameras are some of the most densely built electronics that I ever saw, especially getting it back together. There are some points where you have to connect flat flex cables from multiple directions with very little slack. In the end, doing it step by step, and especially having these tutorials that some other people already put on the internet, it's quite doable. Now we have a camera that's full spectrum converted, so it can see from around 250-ish nanometer to probably 900 or something like that. Now we have to cut that down again. We want only to see everything lower than 400 nanometers. That's the range we are interested in right now. For that, there are pretty expensive filters that you can just put on that do that. One filter in front of a lens and that's done. These are pretty expensive. I did not want to go that route. So what I purchased is a filter that is meant to be a UV filter as well, but it's super cheap. The downside on it, it lets through a bit of IR as well. It's way less in percentage than it lets through on the UV, but that's a big problem, as these CCD sensors are way more sensitive in the IR spectrum. With only this filter on, our pictures are very, very red. The obvious solution to that is add another filter that specifically filters out IR. Then we have just a normal kit lens, and I tried to use that first, but there's the next problem. Using this, our picture is not really what we want it to be. All modern lenses are already like UV filtering on its own. I'm not sure if just every manufacturer is coating their glass, or if it is the makeup of glass itself that the recipe has changed over the years. Again, the internet to the rescue. I didn't have to really do anything here. There are lists on the internet of older lenses that are particularly transparent to UV. So in this case, this is an old cinema lens actually with a M42 screw thread, and then there is cheap adapters from just about any super old standard to the Sony E-mount. It's really much easier than I had expected it to be. But this old lens and the filters that we already discussed together, so in the end, it's a combination of an old cinema lens, a full spectrum conversion, a cheap UV filter, and then an additional IR filter. So a UV pass filter and an IR cut filter, that is. That's important when you're buying these filters. Just UV filter can mean both. But with that, we have a working camera. One additional nice thing about how all of this works is that this camera isn't necessarily a one-trick pony now. Using the normal kit lens in this case, or any other lens for that matter, with a UV IR cut filter, which is essentially the same that the hot mirror that once was here is. So we can transform this camera back in essentially its normal form. For mounting everything, I thought quite a bit. The problem here, at least for me, is I have to take all the stuff that I'm building here into the UK. I will travel by train with a single backpack, so I want to hold that as small as possible. So for the actual mounting and holding it up to a reasonable level, my first idea was to build something that only holds a monitor to the camera and can then be mounted to some piece of a stand-up of a bigger tent or something like that that I would find there, so to not have to bring it. But I wasn't too sure that I would find something suitable. And on top of that, I would probably, as the sun is moving around, would have to reposition it. So I wasn't quite sure to make that possible. So in the end, I decided to take a simple light stand. This is super light, and when folded together, it's not that big either. It has a 1/2 inch thread on the top. The threads I have all around on this camera cage are a 1/4 UNC, so that doesn't fit, but that's fine. I have this 1/2 inch to a 1/4 inch UNC adapter, and additionally I made up a simple bracket that is a slip fit on one side and an MH thread on the other. Using these two bits, we have a simple mounting system here. For the camera, I add a swivel head. It's a simple thing and has like 3 axes of rotation. With this, I can mount the camera in a portrait view. For a mirror, that seemed to be the reasonable choice. You see here, I can point it wherever I want and use the light stand for height adjustment. This additional M8 hole can fit a simple versatile arm. This is just a cheap arm from a indicator stand that is slightly modified to not hold an indicator, but also a 1/4 inch UNC thread. You can actually see how I modify these in my very first video on this channel. And then at the end of this arm, I mount my simple USB monitor. So USB powered HMID, HDMI signal. And with this, the main structure of the thing is actually there. And this can now be positioned so everything lines up well for most people. It's not super stable, but I think for what we need, it is stable enough. But like this, we're not completely done yet. There's no battery for the monitor at all, and the battery of a camera holds like for 5 minutes. Now, coming to powering the system. I built a simple plate with a few 3D printed parts that I can use to mount whatever I need to mount for powering the system. I have 2 ways of doing that, depending on how the situation on the EMF will pan out. My preferred version is a simple power adapter with a bunch of USB outputs that can just plug into whatever I need here, depending on if I will have convenient access to an actual power cable. That would be the best way, because that is a set and forget way. You put it there, it runs forever. If I don't have a convenient power outlet there, a few power, like USB power banks, batteries, can just be double stick tape on here. The thing here, every few hours probably, I would have to go and just switch them out. With that, the system is basically working. You can't see very much right now, as in this workshop, there isn't very much UV rays. We just see the little bit that comes through the gate. We have one last problem. It's not really a mirror right now. As you can see, it's like mirrored from what you expect a mirror to be. Neither in the camera nor in the display is a setting to flip or mirror the image. So I thought about it quite a bit, and it doesn't sit right with me. I wanted it to feel like a UV mirror, and as long as it isn't mirrored, for one, you want to move in front of it and it messes with your brain, or at least it does with mine. And yeah, it doesn't feel right. So the solution I came up with is using a Raspberry Pi 4. It takes in the image over a USB capture device, puts it out over its own HDMI port. I set it up with a 1-line bash script using FFmpeg. It will just run if the Pi is powered, and that actually makes it really nice into a UV mirror. One slight issue, the crowd at these hacker conventions is very privacy focused, and that with a good ride. So using a Raspberry Pi in the system, there's a super easy way of just capturing all the image, obviously, and I'm not doing that, but yeah, that will probably be a topic there. If someone wants to try out a thing and doesn't trust this, I can just pull the cables, directly contact it like that. It's not mirrored then, but it works. So I hope that people are okay with that. I will definitely set it up in a way so it doesn't film anyone that doesn't consciously go in its way. Let's hook that up and see how that looks. Now, trying the system out, outside, to apply sunscreen worked well. I thought it could just be an interesting thing people could have fun with, but I found out that it may actually be helpful. I noticed that I overestimated how well this cream covers quite a bit. I had to apply more than I usually would have to actually reach a good coverage everywhere. I think with that, we are at the end of the video. I hope you liked it, and I hope that the UK weather will not make it useless. So, see you next time.